No, mai anō. Welcome back to breakfast. It's just 4 minutes to 7. There was some distressing news from Northland last night as a man was fatally mauled by a pack of dogs. The attack took place in the remote community of Panguru, which is on the Hokianga Harbour. Of the 6 dogs that attacked, 3 are still on the loose. But what drives dogs to attack in the first place? For more, we're joined by canine behaviourist and president of the Association of Professional Dog Trainers of New Zealand, Darren Rowe. Morena, Darren, thanks so much for being with us this morning. This was news that really struck me. What would cause a dog to attack in this manner?
Yeah, well, first of all, Melissa, Morena, I think, first of all, every member of our association, their thoughts and their prayers go out to the whānau in this distressing time. That's the first thing we need to say. There are many reasons, Melissa, that dogs can show aggression to people. And I think it stems back to, I'll try and sort of talk about maybe 3 or 4 of those things, but one of the main reasons is a lack of socialisation at the very beginning when we get our puppies. So that first 8 to 16, maybe 20 weeks is probably the pivotal time when a dog needs to be exposed in a positive way to new people, to new dogs, new things, new sounds. And when that doesn't happen, that sets up a potential problem for when they see those things later, and then they can get really stressed and they can act quite aggressively towards those things. That's probably one of the biggest reasons, and people need to make sure they take their puppies, they really take their puppies' education seriously and take them to a really good, well-planned behavioural puppy preschool when they're a puppy. Also, I think the genetics and breeding is something that we really need to consider in this. And some breeds obviously are bred for certain things. We need to understand, though, that we make sure that we understand really that aggression can happen in small and large dogs. Okay, so it's not just a large dog thing. It can be any type of dog. And one of the things that's really important for me is about the way that we educate our dogs, the way that we train our dogs. There's lots of different ways of training a dog, and in the association, we're a very positive, force-free organisation, and we use positive reinforcement to train our dogs. And if you use a more punishment-based training, then that dog can quite often escalate, the behaviour can escalate quite considerably because of that style of training, and that's something we really need to consider.
And Darren, is it an example, I guess, or a reminder to us that dogs at heart, I guess, are wild, and that kind of, do they go into kind of a pack mentality?
So the evidence is not that clear about this, the whole wild pack. Most of the dogs that we have in our homes have been domesticated. So the whole pack idea really doesn't have a lot of scientific evidence behind it. And it's the whole idea of a linear hierarchy for dogs where we've got one leader is quite simplistic and doesn't really encapsulate the whole of the myriad of different things that affect the relationship between a dog and a human in a family situation. So to describe them as a wild dog, there's no such thing as a wild dog in New Zealand. Maybe free roaming might be a better phrase, but certainly the pet dog situation doesn't really mirror that in science, recent science at least.
And I just wanted to ask, if people were watching from where this incident took place, and I know some of those dogs haven't been caught yet, what would be the advice if you saw one on the road or on your property?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that the first thing is you don't approach them. I think the police are very clear about that you phone the police or the dog control, and you make sure that you get the right person in to do the right job. The last thing you want to be doing is approaching these dogs. So yeah, get the right people, phone the police or phone the dog control. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, ngā mihi. Darren Rowe from the Professional Association of Professional Dog Trainers of New Zealand and canine behaviourist. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Melissa.